Suddenly I heard a scream in the distance. No, don't go out and take a look, you idiot. Wow, that was some timing. Right as I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me, and it was right outside. It had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived, unknown, dangerous, scary. Leaving this place was dangerous. Dangerous, scary, 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 scary. Scary things were scary, no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't discard my desire to get to know the fear and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. Night wasn't absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gave some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see, even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem murky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman and had come from the right. I couldn't let myself think that. Or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have the fear of losing someone as well. Change your line of thought, Haruaki. Solving the mystery might save someone. 2 birds with 1 stone. I began walking faster. Another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. I almost teared up at how useless it seemed, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I first checked the ground using my feet. And since I might have been close to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. I'd recognize the danger and, if possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore, but I could hear other things. A wet sound, and the sound of something cracking. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward. Forward, until I saw it. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was truly something you had to see yourself. But why? Why was this so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi Yasumizu 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was the traveler Haruaki Fusaishi. He's still moving. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. Yomibito, purge him. And so I... Goodbye, Haruaki. Was finished off by the girl. The feast begins. The last thing I heard, I'll hang the wolf, was that. Raging loop. Unveiled arrival. Obtained key number 2, Werewolf and Resurrection. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Game over. Bad ending number 2. Watch hint corner. No. So that's what person who said don't use hints in the Okay. That's what the person who said don't use hints meant. 11th of May. Are we back at the start here? Closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. Let me see. I think we are, yes. Though it does say 2. Wait, 2 detailed chart. That's 20. But then, oh god, here that's that, and that's where I can just stay inside. I do want to quickly see if this had a branch off as well. Yeah, this had 4. And this was a tutorial. All right. Well, then I guess we'll continue right there. Yeah. We will keep still. We're a good boy. Now. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. Oh, by the way, I forgot that. I was like, right, when the sheep comes, you're supposed to theorize. So let me theorize. It is interesting because the thing I'm most interested about right now is not the werewolf. It's what happened after. Once, you know, they'd found my mangled corpse. Well, technically not corpse because I was still sort of alive at that point. And Chiemi presumably killed me. Now that may have just been something like, you know, I was already going to die anyway because I was that, you know, fatally injured. So she just was like, okay, I'm gonna kill him to you know, stop him being in pain. But that seems unlikely. It could more so be something like, you know, if the huge werewolf gets you, then you turn into one yourself. Now, whether that is actually sort of like, I mean, calling it alive is maybe a stretch, but whether you're, I mean, I guess, does it even matter whether you're like a ghost, in quotations, that has like a physical form, or whether you're actually just still alive, but kind of in the form of a werewolf that, you know, also, you know, you don't really have a consciousness? I don't think it matters, really. It's a technical difference. So, I think it's safe to assume that the werewolf comes out at night with the mist. The question I think that we're having is whether the werewolf is well, let me say that differently. Whether the werewolf always exists, but is kind of like a normal person by day that gets turned into a werewolf, or whether it's just a being that only gets created, in quotations, when the mist appears. So basically, does it have a human form? If it does, how much exactly do the villagers know about it? That, I think, is the next interesting part. And I think the villagers know a hell of a lot about it that they don't tell me. And it will probably take a long time until I figure out more. But yeah, I think that's basically about it. The feast. I wonder if the villagers, at least to some extent, maybe revere is the right word, the werewolf. Like that they wouldn't, like they might still be scared of it, but they're kind of, celebrating might be the wrong word, but they're kind of, I don't know. Like they're fine with the werewolf to an extent? Anyway, I think We'll find out more. Sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I couldn't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain, like the existence of murderers. But until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. I reached to open the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Chiemi. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous, and maybe I could help if I went out. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint, and I had no plans to rectify that. If there was something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far, but right now it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Shit, what the hell were these memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized it as something I'd experienced. That's interesting. So that's how the keys work. So the keys are essentially memories of something that Haruaki shouldn't know about in this timeline, but does. I like that. I would also think that would be a really cool system in something where you could branch out more without needing the keys. Because this is still presumably very static. Like you need this, this, and that key, and then you can experience this and that. Whereas I feel like, and probably like this, I'm assuming, this might be different, but I'm assuming there's probably not much choice you have. Like, you're gonna unlock that key, then that opens up this route, and then you're gonna unlock that opens up that route. It would be fun if it was more like, okay, you can choose like 7 different routes, and then like you'll unlock keys in different orders and stuff like that. But that might be very, very difficult to program and like make work as a story. Anyway. But how? After all, I was still alive, and the time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? My god, I swore I'd never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear, and the pain and death that followed, were exactly what waited for me if I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move. Immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I'd lost my chance to leave. I wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions, but this still didn't feel good. Not to mention I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I was curious. I didn't even feel saved. Until that moment. Suddenly the door began to shake. This place had a handle on the outside, and someone was pulling on it hard. There was a lock, sure, but there was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull on it from inside, but... Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing had lots of other ways of hurting me. But what if it didn't know about me and was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear to what it was doing? Would it just leave? I chose to just wait and see. Once again, someone pulled the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped down a scream and focused on the lock. If it broke, it would be over for me. Over as in I'd be dead. That was what that memory told me. I was powerless back then, and even more so now. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I'd heard that teeth were the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite? Yeah, I'd tear whatever it was apart with my teeth. I'd bite it to death. I gathered my wits in killing intent. Grinding my teeth, I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I'd slowly count to 500. If nothing happened in that time, I'd assume it went away. There were no screams or attacks after that. But the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. So that thing actually existed here. Was it what the mists brought here from Saranaga? The wolf is coming. They all know about this. Shit, I couldn't learn anything in a place like this, and not knowing things scared me. Trusting my prescience or deja vu or whatever it was, I chose to just stay quiet and wait. I'd find out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and then talk to Chiemi. And if it was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bike repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if it didn't work. I'd walk to Kami Fujiyoshi if I had to. Unlike Yasumizu, they might have had reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. 13th of May, Tuesday. Also, I don't think he has to stay awake. I think he can go to sleep. I never liked seeing night gradually turn brighter as the morning arrives. It always made me feel like shit, like I'd just done something harmful, both for my body and as a human being in general. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcome the morning well rested and with a smile. I'd never expected to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door of an outhouse. It felt like the beasts had been out and about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant, but even trying to move them and make it more comfortable for myself felt like a matter of life and death. Maybe it was a good thing I couldn't relax, but hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. When I heard Chiemi shout Haruaki in the distance, I was so overcome with relief I almost fell to my knees. If this turned out to be a trick, and I opened the door to see some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat, I'd just give up and let it have me at this point. With that in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I'd seen yesterday, so what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. What the hell was up with this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Did someone line every inch of this place with dry ice or something? Haruaki? I could hear Chiemi but not see her. Chiemi, I'm right here. Haruaki? What a really— Ah! I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist. Are you okay? I'm stuck in a field. I walked up and saw exactly what I expected. A girl struggling to free one of her legs stuck deep in the paddy field. I see. Well, good luck. Hey, help me out. Oh, you can't do it yourself. Take my hand and out you go. I tucked her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and... Oh, safe. Headlock, this is a wrestling move. You're actually pulling it off. Despite how close we were now, this wasn't the least bit romantic. Anyway, I'm glad you're okay. I definitely remembered a time where I was far from alright, though. Yeah, I guess I am. I had no idea what this was about, what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention it. I did feel like there was some beast outside. Chiemi's expression immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to. I have lots of questions, but right now I'm more interested in the scream I heard than anything else. That was... Huh? You know what I mean? She fell silent, clearly uncomfortable. It was pretty ominous. This way. No point delaying the inevitable. Chiemi gave me her hand. I took it, but I didn't feel the least bit excited about this. She led me down the path to the school dorm. Oh, Fusashi, you're okay. Congrats on surviving, Toilet Man. Thanks, Warm Futon Man. You're okay too. Huh? Wait, where's Haru? Did she... Oh, she's fine. She suffered quite a shock, so she's taken a while to get dressed. I see. So the rest of you have already gotten a move on. How did you even handle being in there anyway? Were you asleep? As if I could. I had no idea when I could get out, so I just waited until I heard Chiemi's voice. Huh? You were awake? Yasunaga made it sound like that was weird. You try sleeping in there, guy. You can't even sit, much less lie down. No, that's not what I see. I really hate it when people just trail off like that. It makes me way too curious. Why are you here anyway? Waiting for Haru and keeping a lookout. A lookout? We're not letting anyone near the scene until the situation is clear. Scene? So, someone actually... When I see, it's a good way to test your stomach. It's the journalist, isn't it? Mochi, don't mess around like that. Yeah, I do. The invisible and unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention I could already smell something foul. I lightly moved them aside and walked up to the so-called scene. There was a corpse. It was in such a horrible state it was hard to recognize it as human. I imagined this was what you would have gotten if you overturned a butcher's cart. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. Also, the butcher would have had to deal in entrails. Enough of that comparison. Straining my eyes to look through the thick mist, I could actually make out some human parts within the vast sea of blood, or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothing, hair, and a shoulder bag. How professional. She kept hold of her interviewing tools even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors though. Despite the body's state, it wasn't hard to tell that the victim was Hisako Mamiya, the small-time food journalist. That thing, did it come to me once it was done murdering her? This is awful. Are you alright? Feel nauseous or anything? Chiemi was standing a short distance away, looking at nothing in particular. I got nothing to puke and, well, I'm used to this. Is that what you were studying in college? Well, I guess you can say that. Huh? Seriously? So can you do autopsies and stuff? When asked if they study medicine, I guess you can say that is what students from similar departments say to make themselves look good. But I did see a few pathology analyses. I crouched down and put my hands together. Then, grimacing at the harrowing reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food, I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. This corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they were folded in an unnatural way and looked really flattened. They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. Then her whole body had been torn apart. The innards were particularly badly damaged. The words wolf down felt like the best way to put it. I found it hard to describe. This wasn't my job, so there wasn't much I could tell about it without touching it. This is way beyond anything I've ever seen before. I can barely tell what happened here. I had an urge to add that this seemed inhuman, but I kept myself from saying that. Anyway, we should call the police, leave it to the pros. I said something any good citizen would, but for some reason they didn't seem to agree. Haruaki, the police won't come. Why wouldn't they? I mean, someone died. They won't. Then let's evacuate. That's not happening either. Why? We have my bike and their van. Anyway, with Fuzaishi, we now have all the survivors, so let's go to the dining hall. We'll wait for Haru. Yeah, you do that. Let's go, Haruaki. Can I get an explanation? Sorry, but I'm not in the mood for explanations. Figure it out for yourself. It was the first time Chiemi had acted so harsh with me. I was pretty irritated myself, but it must have been worse for them. They actually had info on what was happening here. Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Chiemi said nothing more and just silently walked off. I followed after her. When we reached the plaza, I instantly understood what she'd said about evacuating. The bike and the van were both completely destroyed. The latter was in a particularly bad state. The front window was broken, all 4 tires were flat, etc. My bike was on its side. Its front fork was broken. Well, it was basically scrap metal now. Fuck. There was a rock right next to it. Yes, we had our weapon. And There were more remains inside the van. It looked like an enormous mountain of flesh and bone. If I didn't know about Yudai Hashimoto, I'd have assumed there were 2 or 3 corpses here. Hashimoto? Chiemi slowly nodded. I now knew we'd lost not only 2 lives, but any means of transportation as well. Look there. He pointed at a wooden electrical pole. The line was dangling, torn apart with no hope of repair. The other power lines are fine, but the dining halls was destroyed along with the telephone line. We can't contact the outside. I took out my own phone. It worked, but the battery was almost dead, and like before, it was out of range. The situation had become even harsher than before. Look here too. Jimmy walked a few steps away. I followed after. There was a large boulder. It was tall enough to reach an average roof, and there were drawings on it. A crimson symbol of some sort. What did it represent? At first it looked like an incoherent mess of lines. However, I soon realized there was a pattern. It felt like the calling card of some street gang. From what I could tell, the basis was a warped diamond shape with a spiral inside. There were 2 of them. They seemed to be drawn in blood, but that wasn't nearly as disturbing as the bizarre shape. 2 wolves have snuck into the village. We have to fight. Chiemi made a quiet declaration. Apparently the settlement had been invaded by something malicious, and it was intelligent enough to rid it of all means of escape or contacting help. I could understand that much, but it didn't make sense to me. This wasn't some isolated island. There was the cliff, sure, but you could still go down to Sananaga or go to Kami Fujiyoshi. I'd ask about that the next time I had the chance. Sorry. Sorry I got mad. It must be hard for you too. Don't worry about that. I'm just an outsider. Don't say that. Oh, poor choice of words on my part. I mean, I'm an outsider who doesn't know the rules, so I'll just silently watch for the time being. I'm tired, but I think I'm less shaken by this than most people, so I figured it's best for me to stay cool. I imagine even the elders here are more bothered by this. Haruaki, are you really just some university graduate? What else could I be? I don't know. You seem way too calm about this, like you're used to situations like this. My nerves are pretty messed up, I guess. The small dining hall was jam-packed with people. You survived? Good morning. Well, I guess it's not very good considering what's going on. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare enough tea. Oh, it's okay. You did it, didn't ya? The younger Oribe boy menaced at me. No, I didn't. Why would you think that? Shut it! Where the hell do you get off strutting in like that? Stop it, Yoshu. You're the one who needs to shut it. The hell? You're the one who said this bastard's shady. Man, I hadn't expected to be treated this badly. I'm saying this ain't a matter for a brat like you, and you're bothering Kaori, right? Takumi, please calm down. Let's keep it peaceful. It's fine, we'll talk it out. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Thus I offer homage to Shinai the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Stop, Tai. That's a bad omen. Where is the key to the meeting hall? I gave it to Uematsu 2, maybe 3 days ago. Said she'd fix the podium. Well, Missy. I'll go and get it. That was the woman. So she wasn't just an illusion. Uematsu was her name, huh? I thought our eyes met for a second, but she just walked by me. Wait. Eiko, wait here for a moment. That girl was here too. Deeper in, there was Kyonosuke Nosato, clearly irritated by something. And not too far away there was the old man who cried wolf. Just like yesterday, it was hard to tell what he was looking at, let alone thinking. They were the only ones sitting, by the way. The others were all just idly standing around. Mom, everyone, we're back. Come in, Haru. Okay. The 3 students were here. With them, the settlement's entire population had gathered. As for the outsiders, the journalists were dead, while I and the mysterious girl had survived. I didn't know the circumstances, but they probably had their reasons to be suspicious of me. Suddenly, Chiyomi did something unexpected. Rikako, can you wait a moment? She stopped the girl who was about to go out to get some key. Each villager seemed to call her differently, so I didn't know what to call her myself. This is Haruaki Fuzashi. He crashed his bike and I met him at Saranaga. Oh, hello. An introduction? Now? Why? This is Rikako Uematsu. Uematsu is made of the kanji for spin and end. Pretty rare, right? Well, she's the current head of the Uematsu household, one of the chief families from Kami Fujiyoshi. I'm Rikako Uematsu. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Oh. So she was like a local celebrity, huh? Like Kyonosuke's Nosato family? And that's Meiko. We only call her that because we don't know her real name. Hello there, nice to meet you. The girl they called Meiko trembled a bit and... Oh my. Whoa. Sprinted through the crowd to hide behind Rikako Uematsu. So what do you want to say, Chiyomi? I suggest not inviting Haruaki Fuzashi to the feast. I felt a wave of perplexion go through the room. Gee, that ain't how it works. The feast is there to help us decide if he's shady or not, right? Their expressions were stern and their words harsh. No, I'm saying he doesn't even have the right to participate in the feast. The hell are you talking about? He's the shadiest of us all. Yoshi, did you prepare for the feast? Huh? Yeah, I did. You didn't. How was I supposed to react? No one else was raising their hands, but I had no idea what they were talking about. Me, probably. I don't even know what that entails. The other two who didn't prepare for the feast were taken by the corruption. However, Haruaki wasn't. I think Okami ignored him. Okami? As in wolf? Why the reverence? And what was she even talking about? He's from Saranaga, sure, but he clearly just passed by. In fact, I think he'd get in the way of the feast. No, for all we know, forcing him into the feast would just make the Okami mad. What do you think, Ba-chan? Did you really survive without preparation? What was I supposed to do? Purify, shelter, dream. Basically, cleanse your body, lock up in a single building all by yourself, and wait for dawn while asleep. I didn't then. I was in the outhouse by myself, but that's it. I didn't bathe and spent the night awake. The place got all noisy. They probably didn't expect that answer. I don't know. This never happened before. I sounded genuinely puzzled. What do you think, Rikako? I had no idea what kind of dynamics were at work here, but Chiyomi asked for Rikako Uematsu's opinion. I consent to the idea. If our great Lord Shinai chose to spare him, he must be exempt from the rules of the mountain. Her words created even more commotion. So there. Chiyomi, you know what you're doing, right? If we remove him... Yeah, we won't have to waste our hanging for the day. Oh man, what do you think? It was roundabout, but in the end, once again, the one to make the final call was Kanzo Makishima. He won't be in the feast. Old man. But... Glaring directly at me, the old man walked through the gathering and approached me. Seeing him from up close, I realized just how big and burly he was. It was pretty typical of someone living in a place like this, but it felt out of place on someone his age. His expression displayed both an inner strength to match his physique and a profound rage. If the lords of the mountain don't work at you, it'll be our rules you follow. If you don't, I'll shoot you dead. He spoke slowly, yet decisively. Man, this was uncomfortable. Hold on, if he can be excluded, I would like the same to happen to Rikako and I. Huh? Why? We're from Kami Fujiyoshi. We have no reason to play along with Saranaga's business. No, Sato-sama. that won't do. If you're here on the day of the feast, it doesn't matter if you're Nosato, Uematsu, Miguruma, or Higuchi. Uncle, that would mean Yasun and I could leave too. You are both disinherited. That's different. Why must people that are still part of the four families take part in this idiocy? Listen here, Kyo. Don't call me that, Muro. Let's go, Rikako. We have no reason to play with these peasants. No, Nosato. Those in Fujiyoshi have a duty to remain present. All remains in the hands of Shinai-sama, and we now gather upon the platter named Yasumizu. But if you got a problem, then get out. Let the corruption take ya. Kiyonosuke eventually fell silent and Rikako left. To get the key, probably. She returned in no time and everyone began leaving. You're not coming with us. Alright, where to then? Takumi, is the cage open? Oh, well, yeah. Well, alright, I'll take him. Come with me. Everyone went to some hall near the village plaza while Takumi led me elsewhere. We made our way through the tall grass between the buildings. At a dead end next to wild trees and a rocky cliff, there was a large cage. It even had a roof and would have passed for a hut with a bit of work. This is where we keep the live game we capture. Sorry, but you'll have to wait here. I can't say no, can I? Don't take it the wrong way, okay? You'll be out once we're done with the feast. It won't take long. And I can't get any details, huh? Yeah, I do feel bad about this, but you should be thankful you don't need to take part in the feast. How was I supposed to feel that way if I didn't even know what the feast was? I'd have asked, but he looked pretty irritated. Probably because he wanted to get it over with, so I kept my mouth shut. The floor of the cage was mostly gravel, with spaces of wheat and other things littered about. There was a vague but very clear scent of beasts. Can I lie down here? I figure I should sleep whenever I can. Man, you're brash. No, just a coward. I don't want to die is all. That was why I'd abandoned those people. After Takumi locked me in and left, I laid down and closed my eyes. The ground was hard and it reeked pretty bad, but it was still an improvement over the outhouse. I should have taken the time to think about what the villagers had said, about my strange memories, and about how I could get the hell out of here. That was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I'd just be swept away by an unproductive spiral of regret if I went down that rabbit hole. Had I always been this admirable of a person? Another thing. For some reason I felt like I'd spent the entirety of this time just watching the battle. So I decided that I'd focus on resting in preparation for what was to come. Everyone's sitting, then let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge. Who's... Oh, that's... Kid, yes. I was like, who's that? Uematsu-sama, if you may. This is sacred sake presented to us by Shinai-sama. Please drink it, starting from the youngest. Sake? You just put your mouth to it. No drinking for you kids. Not like it would kill me. Stop it, Yoshitsugu. You say something too, Yasunaga. Yoshitsugu, this is just for tradition's sake. Shut it. I know how it is, Aniki. I don't want to drink this. Haru, just kiss it. There, done. And I'm done too. Same here. Cheer. Alright, adult time. Here I go. This is enough for me. It's better than I expected, Muro. We're drinking sake during the day. This feast is something. Here, old man. Don't spill it, Tai. I'll have it. Can you hold it, mister? This is sake. That's done. Tai, explain. You all know the tales, don't you? When the evening mist comes, the Okami-sama, the wolves, come back to life and try to slay the humans. There were two symbols of the Yomotsu Okami. That means that two wolves have risen. That's why we must do as Shinai-sama says and throw feasts so we can find and hang them, using the powers of the guardians some of us were given. If we don't, we will be taken by the corruption, That means dying a horrible death. To avoid the corruption, we must have feasts to slay the wolves. That is our role as inhabitants of Yasumizu. Neja, what does slay mean? Means kill. Scary. It's fine. I'll protect you. Sorry for the interruption, Yamawaki-san. It's okay. Children always do that. She's not the only one among us who could be a wolf. Good grief, what nonsense. If that's what you think, then just fuck off and let the corruption have ya. Yoshitsugu. Oribe, I'm concerned about your son's upbringing. I'm like this because I want to be. Don't drag the hag into this. Shut up, Yoshitsugu, or I'll punch you. Ha, Takumi, the hell are you acting tough for? If I say I'll punch you, I will. You two here, just shut up and listen. You don't have the guts. Hear that? Adults don't let stuff like that get to them. Anyway, this doesn't seem right to me. I've been hearing about this ever since I was young, but it never made sense to me. We've been here for as long as we can remember. With the exception of Mako, we all know each other. They've been replaced by wolves? Like hell, they're the same as always. Takumi, you're being naive. What? You're saying there's someone shady among us? Everyone's shady. Shin-chan. You be careful too, Haru. Even beasts can trick people, and people trick better than any beast. There are things here acting like they're one of us. Why are you so confident? There's truth in what the ancestors said. Well, if you say so. That's just what Yasumizu's numbskulls say, isn't it? Shikamochi. Again, you irreverent little... Mochi, stop that. I'm sorry, so what do we do now? What do you mean? We talk and decide, right? Will that be enough? I mean, we're deciding who to kill here, aren't we? Everyone will say what they think, then we'll narrow down to the most reasonable opinion. Chia, what do you think? I think it's a mess. We already have people who think no one's shady, and those who think everyone is. Yammering on and on about something that can't be reasonably decided is a waste of time. Besides, in the end, this is just going to be decided by whoever's most influential. What are you getting at? Don't worry too much, Jimmy. Most of us here are Yasumizu brothers and sisters. It'll work out in the end. I appreciate that you're being so considerate, but we're talking about killing someone here. Plus, it gets worse. If you don't want to pick someone close to you, you'll choose someone else. Someone you don't like, or a stranger. Personally, I think you shouldn't let that kind of thing affect your decision. It would be a grave mistake. Hey, I'm trying to say that killing and all that shit is insane and we should stop it. That won't do, Takumi. Machan's saying the same thing. That's why we gotta talk it out, you know? I know what you're trying to say, but... can I? Haru-chan speaking. What's the likelihood of the guy Chia brought being the one who killed the journalists? See? What did I just say? I don't think you did. It's just make up though. What about you guys? Takumi, you said he's shady. Yeah, I did, but like Chumi said, we shouldn't make decisions based on that. Also, the guy's weird, but I don't think he'd do something like that. I'm with you on that. This is our problem, so we should solve it by ourselves. Isn't that basically choosing someone based on who you like? So how do you think we should choose Kyonosuke? I believe majority rule is the most reliable method here, Yasunaga Oribe. Hail democracy and all that. That's not very like you. I'm merely saying that there's no better way to get the common opinion of this many people. Also, talking it out and making the decision then is basically taking the conclusion most people agree with, no? That's the same as majority rule. Otherwise, like you mentioned, everything would be decided by whoever had the most influence. Who would that be here in Yasumizu? Kanzo Makishima? Tai Yamawaki? And who would be killed? Me, of course, the non-local. Isn't that foolish considering the people deciding might themselves be wolves? No, Sato. Just so you're aware, I have no intention of dying. At the very least, I want a method where I have a say in what happens. I'm against that. Majority rule? Yeah, you'll get a conclusion, but there's no guarantee you'll be right. I still think talking it out and deciding then is the best. Speaking of which, what will we even talk about? Ty, you said something about the Guardians of the Mountain being... of the mountain lending us their aid, right? Yes, the snake, the monkeys, the crow, and the spider will lend us their aid. Do you know the details? The snake. Ah, old fart, you know about it. The snake can ask the mountain who's a wolf. There are two monkeys. They both know who the other monkey is. The crow can ask the mountain if the hanged one was a wolf. The spider can ask the mountain to protect someone from the wolves, only for one night. That's what I've been told too. The wolf has come. I wasn't aware you knew this. I thought you were just senile, but it looks you're pious too. Anyway, that means some of us here should have those powers. What do you mean? Wait, do God and the Guardians even exist? Isn't that just some serial killer using old folktales as a cover? Haru, God really does exist. You just believe he does. No, all of us must have seen Shinai-sama at least once in our lives. But that's... Calm down, Haru. Are you alright? Yeah, sorry. Whether it's true or not, we should start by putting together what we know. It's too early to decide anything. Let's make the Guardian thing a bit easy to understand. Can't you young ones remember the old tales better? The snake sees, the monkeys hold hands, the crow tastes, the spider protects. The snake can discover the wolves among the people. It's also the guardian beast of the Miguruma family. The monkeys know for certain that the other monkeys aren't wolves. It's the guardian beast of the Higuchi family. The crow can tell if the one who died was a wolf or not. It's my family's, Nosato's guardian beast. That's pretty sad. Silence. And the spider can keep the wolves from entering someone's home. It's the Uematsu's guardian. Indeed, each family's crest represents their guardians too. But how do those chosen by those guardians use their powers? The snake writes the name of one still living person on something and puts it under their pillow before bed. The next morning, Shinai-sama tells them whether it's a human or a wolf. There are two monkeys, and Shinai-sama tells them who the other monkey is the moment they're granted protection. The crow is told whether the person who was hanged the day before is a human or not. The spider writes the name of one still living person and places it on their pillow. That person will be protected from the wolves, but only for one night. With these methods, we must use the powers of the guardians to pick someone to hang each day. If we get all the wolves, we win. If the wolves get everyone else, we lose. Do you understand now? Yes, but where did you even learn this? I heard about it from my Obachan. Wait, that means that those who have the village head family blood have their guardians, right? I'm not so sure about that. I mean, we don't have anyone with Miguruma blood, disowned or not. I heard that. The guardians are very fickle about who they lend their aid to. And who are they? If they reveal it, they might make themselves targets for the wolves. We won't get anything done if we can't talk about it, though. You think so? What if... Ah, screw this. We're wasting time here. Listen up. My guardian's the snake. Huh? What? Takumi, is that true? How do you even know that? I forgot to explain that. The guardians come when we're dreaming and leave a mark for their chosen ones. If you wish to borrow their power, write it up and put it on your pillow. The mark will give you their answer. Yeah, I had a mark on me. I don't remember the dream though. Snake sees. Does that mean Takumi already knows who the wolves are here? No, as I said, he has to write it up, and you can only choose one person per night. Huh? So we won't know anything until tomorrow morning? Yes. Can I ask something, Muro? What is it? Why did you reveal such important information for no reason? What do you mean, why? We have no information to go on. Based on what's been said, the snake's power is very important. It makes you a very powerful asset in the fight against the wolves. So, revealing it like you did puts you in grave danger. Huh, I ain't scared at all. How can you say that? Did you see what those monsters did to those people? How so you believe in monsters? It was a figure of speech. Anyway, this turn of events has cost us a valuable weapon. Don't just decide that. You don't know shit. Yes, I do. Listen to me, everyone. Anything you say here is free information for the wolves. We should talk things out without overplaying our hands, yeah? That's true, and it gave me an idea. I'm the one speaking now. Quiet, fool. Yasu, speak. Huh? To make the best use of Takumi's reveal, the spider should protect him. The spider among us, without revealing his or her identity, should write his name down, I suppose, and protect him. That would keep him safe. What do you think? Sounds good to me. Yasu, old man. You'll be safe today. Ask the snake to tell you about someone. Whatever he finds out will definitely be correct, right? Right. Takumi, can you promise you won't lie no matter who you investigate and what result you get? Of course I won't. Isn't that good enough for today? I don't think we can hang anyone without any kind of proof. You sure that's okay? Well, why wouldn't it be? Just sitting around and waiting doesn't suit me, okay? I know that. Oh, by the way, I think Takumi should tell us who will investigate. Why? So if you investigate someone and don't like the result, you can't lie that you actually investigated someone else. What the? I wouldn't lie. That's reasonable. I'd say it's necessary for Muro, considering how sympathetic he is to Yasumizu's inhabitants. He's not that special in that regard. Everyone wants to protect their own, but the situation doesn't allow that. There's another positive to that. We can all discuss and decide who we should investigate first, right? True, I'd like to talk about that too. Who do you think I should go for, Yasunaga? I'm not too sure, but I think we should start with the one who's most likely to be unjustly chosen to be hanged. That would be me. Honestly, I feel as though I can't even speak if I'm not confirmed to be human. You're speaking quite a lot if you ask me. Then I'll investigate Kyo. Is that okay? Fine by me. Then we're not hanging anyone today. Is that really fine? Yeah, it's gonna be fine. That's it for today. Alright. And that will indeed be it for today. So we are actually playing a game of Werewolf. That's fun. I love that game. Alright. Then, I'm interested to see where this goes next. For now, that'll be it. So I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks for doing so, and I will see you all next time. Till then, bye bye.